Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. I want to introduce Stephen Barclay here just behind me. He's from our America's Cup Event Authority, and of course Mike Martin from our staff, who's been working very diligently with the Event Authority, with Stephen, the whole team, and many different agencies. Of course, my point person for also making sure that we honor the public's request that we do this America's Cup event in the best possible way and include everybody. But first of all, let me start with some good news, because I know some of you will challenge me with some other issues. The good news is that in January of this year, we had an unemployment rate of 9.5%. And as we announced steadily during the year, it went down. Well, today, as of today, it is 17.8. I'm sorry, 7.8. So that's right. Sorry. 7.8%. The reason I had that number there is because it really means 17,000 people during less than a year. 17,000 more people got employed. So that's tremendous. I mean, I think we're really on our way to recovery. It's been exciting for me, and that's partly why right after the election I went right to work, because I knew that if we keep the momentum going, more people can find jobs in the city, and we want to keep that basis going. And so I've not taken a break. I've not wanted to, because I think the excitement of keeping this foundation going is incredible. And with that unemployment rate announcement, I wanted to praise and thank our Planning Commission for their unanimous vote last night on passing the environmental impact report for America's Cup. And that is a good reason why Mr. Barclay's here today, because we celebrated that night with a phone call to each other and said, good job, we've done it. Mike Martin and his team, our economic authority, or our economic office, has been working really hard with our port staff, port commissioners, very hard on all aspects of this. And as we went through those very time-consuming public meetings, we meant it when we said that we would honor everything that we wanted to do. And here's Monique Moyer as a director of our port here today to be part of this good announcement that going forward, we think that we've done a very comprehensive response to the concerns that were raised and the issues that were raised. And we now can look forward to literally beginning to put the work together and start on the construction of our cruise ship, which I think is one of the signature work that we wanted to do. So celebrating the EIR was a tremendous effort. Again, I want to thank all of the parties involved, particularly the Event Authority that's been working with us, the organizing committee, the America's Cup management team, as well as our port staff, our port commissioners, and also our, and this is Kim Brandon, the president of our Port Commission. Thank you very much for being here. Hi, Ms. Lazarus is being here as well, part of our Port Commission. They're here to join us as we all conversed last night that this is really a great milestone in putting forth the America's Cup. In addition to the environmental impact report passing, which allows the port to begin its work on the cruise ship and all the other agreements that we wanted to move forward on, we also wanted to let you know that we've been working, in addition to the EIR, some other important issues that were raised during the many, many public hearings. We have the rest of our Port Commission joining us as well. Commissioner Katz, Commissioner Crowley, hi, Commissioner Ho. Thank you very much for joining us, too. See, the excitement is growing as they hear this. I think I've thanked the Port and the Commission 5 times now, and I'll continue doing that as well with our, of course, our Event Authority, Mr. Barclay here. During these periods of time, there was a lot of discussion around development rights, long-term development rights. In particular, they had to do with Piers 14 to 22 and a half. As a result of good work with port staff, but particularly with the event authority through Mr. Barclay's considerable help and understanding of the concerns that were raised, and our office's willingness to work with him to find a solution. We'd like to announce, in cooperation with the Port Commission, that we have a solution. We are agreed to an exchange of development rights with the organizing committee or the event authority, and so they will be giving up their long-term development rights to Piers 14 to 22 and a half, and they will in exchange be offered the development rights and will have accepted the development rights for Pier 54. And so I think that that's a major, major agreement because a lot of concerns were raised about views and about just the impacts of developing in front of those marina piers. And I think that this has been a wonderful solution. It took really a lot of sensitivity on everybody's part moving forward, understanding those concerns and getting into the room while we were in the same time making sure we fulfilled all the EIR. So we're working for different sets of hands all at the same time to move the AC34 event forward. And so I want to thank everybody again that's been included in this. But in particular, I want to just praise Mr. Barclay's participation because I think he's learning what it is to do business with the city. And I say he's learning it well. Because he's kept a very calm approach with us. Not always. I think at the beginning there was just a high level of anxiety with everybody, but I hope I present, Stephen, a level of calmness that you can work with as well, because I look forward to doing that, because we have a lot of other decisions to be made. And so it is my style to make sure that we begin and set a foundation so that we can talk to each other and present those challenging issues so that we can work together and make agreements, and each of us gives up something to get a good compromise to get this event forward. Now, having said that, this event is moving forward. The cruise ship terminal is going to move forward. $1 billion of economic impact is going to move forward. The races literally start. You start seeing the smaller boats next August. So we don't have time. We're 8 months away from those first races. And you know, the 8,000 jobs, that's not just a promise. It's going to really end in reality here. And then I invite you as well, because I know Mr. Barclay will too, that very soon you're going to see their activities on Pier 80, and I think they're going to declare some public days, which you can literally see what they're doing on that pier and the activities that are going on with the boats. So I want to make sure you see that in anticipation. That's America's Cup, and I have a third thing to announce today, but before we have everybody speak. You know, I told you we have 2 or 3 sets of hands. Well, there's other sets of hands that are working on our economic growth in the city. And so I want to announce today, and some of you may have heard, the Pac-12 Media Center is moving to San Francisco. And they've just signed an 11-year lease at 370 3rd Street. You know, when you look at Pac-12, you should understand, and those of you that are very interested in the collegial sports, you don't know that Pac-12 is really the center for champions. It's the league for champions because the Pac-12 holds the highest number of NCAA championships throughout all of its history. And so that's a big deal, the media center. And by way of background, this media center looked at other places when they were considering where their media center would be considered. And clearly there was a big push for Hollywood, for LA, because that's television, it's television studios, it's the LA brand of being Hollywood. But they made a decision, and in conference with Mr. Scott and Mr. Stevenson, the head of the Pac-12 Enterprises, they indicated to us the future is with San Francisco because of our attraction to technology, to being a city of innovation, and that the future of media is not just one media kind of dimension. It's multimedia. And so they're looking at markets to penetrate, and they want to be close to where our technology innovation is occurring, and that's in Mission Bay. They also indicated a very interesting thing that really resonates with me, and that is they're not just wanting to be a national media center. They are going international. And where to launch it from San Francisco is incredibly open for them. In fact, Larry Scott has just come back from China. We hooked them up with our China SF program. They want to have markets all over the Far East, including China, from everything from basketball to football to volleyball, men and women's sports in the collegial arena. So I want to just indicate to you how excited I am about that, and to let you know that, names that my generation, our generation, has been familiar with, the John Elways, the Ronnie Lotts, the Aaron Rodgers, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, just to name a few, Jason Kidd, Natalie Coughlin, Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, they all came through the Pac-12 colleges. Well, you're going to see the new stars coming through because if the digital media center is here, all of them will be coming here for their interviews. They'll be coming here to announce what they want to do and who they want to associate with. They'll be coming here to be entertained as well as to see their fans in San Francisco. So that excites me to no end. We are on a good roll. Pac-12 is exciting to have here. So we have unemployment rate reduction to 7.8. We have the America's Cup moving forward on not only the EIR, but this very key agreement with the peers and development rights going forward, and balancing what the public has told us and what the port staff has been incredibly focused on, and then with a great partner in the AC Event Authority. And then we've got this announcement with Pac-12 coming that will start broadcasting literally in August of 2012. They want to be on the ground, in the air, if you will, broadcasting. So with those three, I want to also welcome up Mr. Stephen Barclay to say a few words on how we've acted with him in these incredible weeks.
Could be dangerous. Well, I'd like to thank the Mayor personally, really. We're new here, and I have to say we haven't got it right all the time, but we're learning, and we're learning fast. Specifically with regard to the area of peers 14 to 22, the Mayor called me into his office a little while ago and suggested to me that that was really off the table. And so I listened, and we went through a pretty neat process, really, where we both talked about what we were trying to achieve, and the thing that made us really consider what this was about was that we're not really just talking about a couple of years, we're talking potentially about quite a long time. And so we really have to join the city and the port in a partnership, really, to help us get the things done that we want to get done for the benefit of all. So anyway, I just wanted to say that it was a real pleasure to work with you, Mr. Mayor, over the last several weeks to get that job done.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And in announcing this too, I know that the Port Commission and staff must consider this in the public, and they have a meeting ongoing, but they wanted to come down because we have engaged them in this discussion. It was important enough for us to make a special announcement on this. So thank you for the port to being here. I think this is pretty much the information we wanted to share with you, so we'll open ourselves up to questions if you have them.
Mr. Mayor, are you ready for Occupy the Bay? There's some saying that they might stage some sort of disobedience because of their unhappiness with what's happening with Aquatic Park.
In Aquatic Park, huh? Well, again, I think that we have had an incredibly open process, and we've invited everyone to share their views, and we'll do our best. I mean, I can't say we're going to 100% deal with every single issue the way people want us to, but let me say this. We evidenced our willingness to be reasonable with just last week when we announced the relocation of Teatro Cinzani. Again, with the help of the port and our staff working together, we found them a location. They were happy. They were so happy they were dancing on some parking lot with us. Gary, Mr. Bowers, Intelligent Transportation, they've willingly accepted their relocation. And now we have 75 more efforts to get done. But I think we've evidenced that if we're all reasonable, we can get this all done and just really try to take care of everybody.
Are you concerned that the threatened appeal will push this whole process back even further?
Well, we're always concerned about any effort by anyone that might delay our efforts here. But, you know, I think that our Planning Commission has done a good job. I think that the compromises that we've made in response to the public's input, I want to emphasize that. Because in our city, one of its incredible things is we really pay attention to process for a good reason. We have an intelligent community of interests, and particularly when it comes to our waterfront. Ports learned that over many, many years. And for me, ascending to this office and working with Mr. Barclay, we had to immediately pay attention and respect the input that we have from the public. So we're going to continue doing our best, but I think that we have under our belt some very great solid confirmation that we're headed in the right direction. We've given respect to people who've given their input and who have been reasonable. And I hope that there isn't individuals out there who have different agendas apart from the success of our city that's right in front of us with this fantastic event that we're about to give value to, and the long-term legacy that the event authority, the organizing committee, and I know our port and its commission are committed to in developing piers and areas of our waterfront that hadn't had the opportunity to get the kind of economic foundation that it has until this event came along.
With the agreement last night, you got the port meetings going on today. What's the next step, and when do we start seeing the asphalt turning or whatever?
With the expected agreement that the development agreement that is before the port, I would expect that Monique, knowing how important this is and knowing that it is part of job creation, we can't wait minutes to get people their jobs. And that's what I've been all about. That's why I led with this press conference with the unemployment rate. I'm still not satisfied with that 7.8. I want to get it down so low, and I want to show people that if you work together, if you bring people together to make decisions, we can do an even better job. Because if I don't, all we got is the state telling us what the triggers that they're going to cut. The feds, through their next election, is going to tell us what they cannot do. I want to be about what we can do, and if we put it together, I know the port's going to act very quickly to get the shovels turning on this, because they can't wait, and I can't wait for that new cruise ship terminal to show itself. Right?
Correct.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, one other thing, there's a fireboat pier that has fallen into some disrepair. It has some problems. We reported this a couple of weeks ago. What new on that, and can you confirm that it'll be ready by the time this AC 34 begins?
I can't confirm that today, but I will definitely have some framework or perspective with you in the very near future. We are paying attention to it. It also has staffing issues with our fire department, along with the need to have probably a higher level of firefighting ability along the waterfront when the event takes place. So we are trying to balance all of that with limited resources, but that's just a framework. But we are paying attention to it.
Paying attention, but can you say there'll be a fireboat there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, of course, there'll be a working fireboat. It's just, the economics around the status of the firehouse. We're not ready to talk through that yet, but there'll definitely be fireboats operating for sure.
So how is the
Is
San
there
Francisco,
someone
the Pac-12 coming into San Francisco, occupying San Francisco,
Yeah.
impact the job creation?
Oh gosh, 150 jobs that we don't have today. That's an immediate staffing of that media center, the Media Digital Center at 3rd Street. And it'll be everything from folks like yourselves, camera folks, and that technical expertise. But they'll also be looking for new talent, because what they told me is they're not satisfied with television. They want every kind of media ability to, and content ability to showcase the content that Pac-12 has to offer. And they're even talking with our universities to bring in educational content along with sports-related content. So these are just beginning because they're talking about new areas, but they know that being in San Francisco allows them to have partnerships with innovation to talk through this. So they're going to be much more than just your traditional television media outlets.
Mayor, back to the America's Cup for a minute. I'm wondering if there's someone here who could kind of put it in easy listener in English, what the trade-off between Pier 12 and 22 for Pier 54 means, like where they are and what's gonna happen there. I mean, what's the practical effect of that?
Both Mike Martin and Monique Moyer can speak to that. Please.
Thank you for the question. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the opportunity. Monique Moyer, I'm the director of the port. First and foremost, I would like to take the opportunity to thank Mr. Barclay and his team. And I'd like to say to everyone here in the Bay that it takes people who love water to love our Bay. And so we are so proud to have you here, to have you love our Bay the way that we do. And because of that, they've understood the issues that were raised, and they've come up with creative solutions. And we are really, really blessed to have that in our partner. Specifically to your question, Barbara, we're talking about moving, or we've made the commitment to move a long-term marina from what is a passive water area, an area that is attracts people from all over the city, west side to east side, all over the state, and people who are there constantly enjoying it, to moving the marina to a portion of the waterfront that is more of a working waterfront at Pier 54. And it is going to come at a pretty prominent time in our city's development. That portion of the waterfront, as you know, we are paying a lot of attention to with respect to the potential development of Seawall Lot 337, which is also known as Lot A, all of the private development that is happening in Mission Bay, and the way that we are moving forward with Pier 70. This Pier 54 idea fits perfectly in that, and we can't commend Mr. Barclay and the mayor enough for their vision in doing this for us. So I hope that answers your question.
Pier 54 it's in Mission Bay.
It's in Mission Bay.
Whereabouts in?
So if you know where Kelly's Mission Rock is, that is a little bit south of where Pier 54 is. It's pretty much right across from the, I believe it's the old Navy building in Mission Bay.
And then when you're talking about the marina, is that the marina off AT&T Park or what?
No, the original city's bid contemplated a new marina that would have been in front of the Bow and Arrow in the Rincon water basin. So we are talking about moving that. We've agreed to move that development.
It's not an existing marina.
It's not an existing marina.
Okay.
So what will go there? What will go at the Bow and Arrow?
It will remain a passive water basin for enjoyment of everyone who's going to come watch the events.
And then I just had one other question about fundraising. The last briefing that I went to, and it may not have been the most recent one, but at that time, I don't know that any of these, millions of dollars had actually been raised. Some money had been pledged, but could somebody just give us a quick fundraising update? Where are you in the amount of money that the committee has to raise to actually put this on, and how are you going to get there?
So Mike Martin, Mayor's office. So that obligation is on the America's Cup Organizing Committee, the locally formed nonprofit. Their initial target is $12 million by the completion of the secret process and approvals at the Board of Supervisors. So we understand that they are well on track to do that, and so we continue to look forward to hearing more from them as we move ahead in the approvals process. So I think we're fully confident that that'll come together along with these great agreements that the mayor and the event authority have put together to really put a package together that people can say, we'll bring these events here in a way that really brings the economic impacts and benefits to San Francisco and really creates a great set of events.
How much money they actually raised so far, have they told you?
That you'd have to ask them. I mean, they've definitely really been continuously working to reach out to the philanthropic donor community, working in close connection with the event authority in their sponsorship efforts as well. So I think that question's better directed towards them. But we're confident and they're confident that they'll meet that initial goal and continue to fundraise to continue to meet their objectives under the host agreement.
And Mike, there's some infrastructure requirements along the port areas, under the piers. Lots of problems there that need to be fixed by somebody. Who's going to do that? Where's that money coming from?
I would defer to the port on that. In terms of the event, a lot of the money that's coming forward to do the event improvements are coming from the development agreements that are before the Port Commission today, as well as the public financing of the cruise terminal project. So those are coming forward, and we've got an excellent public-private partnership between the city, the port, and the event authority to do those.
So Monique, maybe this is better directed to you. Where's the money going to come from to fix the infrastructure problems in the piers?
What a great segue. Please come to the Port Commission meeting across the hall as soon as we're done here. I'll talk to you afterwards about it, but it is exactly as Mr. Martin said for the piers that we were talking about with respect to the cruise terminal project. The Port of San Francisco, with the city's assistance and assistance of the Event Authority, are making a significant investment in Piers 27, 29, an investment that hasn't been made with public funds in half a century. The last time it was made was in the 1960s. With respect to the piers that they are talking about, Piers 30, 32, which, as you know, the port has long had hopes someone would love as much as we do. The Event Authority will be making that investment, as well as Piers 26 and 28. That still leaves, as you point out, probably another 25 piers, and we are working constantly for ideas on those. We have the Exploratorium project working with us on Piers 15 and 17. We have Forest City, which has stepped up to help us with piers at Pier 70, and so we continue to move forward on taking care of our wonderful waterfront. And as you know, the port itself invested through its first issuance in public debt last year, which was the first time in a quarter of a century that we'd been able to do that. So it is coming forward in piecemeal, but it is coming forward at long last.
Folks worry about 43, for instance, Fishing of the Wharf.
Well, 43 is actually under construction as we speak, and so they've gone from worrying about it to being annoyed about it. That, thank you for the question. That came from the generosity of the San Francisco voters who approved a neighborhood parks bond in 2008 and generously supported the Pier 43.5 and seawall project, as well as the Brannan Street Wharf, which is mostly funded by the port, but with help from that bond. That's where the closed-up Pier 36 is, so you will see construction happening on that very quickly. And there's work happening as we speak in the Mission Bay, at the Mission Bay Parks, right near Pier 54. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.